It's Cougar Sports Saturday.
That's caught! Touchdown! Stayed inside the boundary and gets in for 6.
Cougar Sports Saturday, a presentation of KSL Sports.
Richie right to the rim, driving score! He would not be denied!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Sponsored by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Kyle Ireland. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars, KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Big 12 football, Mitch. A different league. My heavens, what a game there in Dallas. SMU falls in a double overtime thriller to Baylor. Baylor coming back from down 2 touchdowns. Wow. This is not what we saw an hour ago there in Dallas. What a win for the conference and what a win for Baylor.
Yeah, Baylor gets it done 48-45 against SMU from the ACC. Big win. Yeah, those type of moments are huge for the league. You got to have those moments. I know BYU doesn't play Baylor this year, but it's important in these non-conference games to win those games, and those take on significance. And you got to get those victories when you can. So. Big win for Baylor, big win for the Big 12 to take down a nationally ranked SMU in Dallas. BYU knows all too well how difficult SMU can be on the hilltops. That's a big win for Baylor.
Another ACC matchup for the Big 12 tonight is BYU playing Stanford at 8:15. You can hear that game on KSL News Radio. And to get ready for that, I had the chance to talk with BYU defensive back Raider Damuni, another guy who was recruited by Stanford, and this is my conversation with Raider earlier this week.
Raider, you guys put a beating down on Portland State on Saturday, 69-0. I saw you flying all over the field. It seemed like you were just attacking the ball, maybe unlike I've ever seen you play during your time at BYU. Was that a mentality, a specific thing you were trying to do going into that game?
Yeah, for sure. I think, the first game of the season, it's my third year in the system now, and so it's time to let it go, time to let it rip. And so I think that's the mentality for every game for all of us that play on the defense. Fly to the ball, run to the ball, and make some plays.
You've got a pretty, extensive talent group there on the defense this season. Bunch of guys made plays on Saturday, and then, even went into the backups, second, third, fourth string in the second half. But could you specifically talk about the guys that you're running out there with, Falatau Satuala and Tanner Wall, and what you guys can do as a trio?
Yeah, it's great playing with them. We can do a lot as a safety group, including Talon Alfrey as well, us 4. Any of us, I've mentioned this before in previous interviews, but a lot of us, we can play any position from free to strong, which helps us disguise more, helps us give different looks to different offenses. And so it's great. We study together, we learn together, we work hard together. And so just putting it all together on the field, we're excited to play with each other and continue to keep rolling.
Looking ahead to this weekend's game, you've got a jump up in competition, obviously going from FCS to FBS, but playing another power program in Stanford. You were recruited by Stanford. What are your recollections of that recruiting process, what you went through with Stanford, and kind of the decision that separated BYU from Stanford? Yeah,
Stanford was actually really high on my list when I was making that decision. It came down to BYU, Utah, and Stanford. And so I know a lot about that university, the culture there, and so it's a great university. They have a good historic program of winning. They have a winning culture there, and then even though they lost their first game, they're going to bring a physicality to the game, a tough mindset, and so that's something that we're looking forward to playing against. But then just going back to your question of why BYU is, man, I always dreamed of being here. I love BYU. I love being at home here in Provo and playing for the hometown team. And so that's played a key role in my recruitment.
Stanford's interim head coach Frank Reich talked about BYU and the matchup and whatnot on Monday, but he also looked back at their game over a week ago in Hawaii, and he said that one of the things that he liked about their team from that loss was the way they were able to run the ball and the way they were able to protect the football. Are those things that you've noticed looking at the Stanford film from that game?
Oh, absolutely. They're a team that want to get downhill and run the ball. And if they can keep running the ball, then they're just going to keep smacking you in the mouth. And so it's definitely something that us as a defense, we're preparing for. And we're excited for the challenge. They're a physical group. They have a good O-line. They have great running backs. And so their receivers block well. And that's kind of their culture that I feel like they've set over there, is to be physical and be tough guys. And so we're going to have to come in and match that energy as well.
You've got 2 more non-conference games before you get into Big 12 play, but what are some of the goals that you've set as a defense this season, and maybe some personal goals as well?
As a defense, we want to be the best defense in not only the Big 12 but in the country. You know, I know we led the nation in interceptions last year. We want more. Everything, you know, from fumbles, from turnovers. We just want more sacks, and so that's something as a goal. And then obviously for myself, individual goals. I just want to be able to do my job 100% every single game, and I know if I do those things, big plays will come my way. And so yeah, just be clean.
Looking back at that Portland State game again, your cousin got some good running time there out of the backfield in the second half. What did you think of Javesa's effort and what you saw from the sidelines of him playing?
Man, none of us are surprised, actually. Like, if you've watched Javesa during fall camp, everyone knows that he had a great fall camp, and we know what he's capable of doing. He's fast, explosive, quick. And so seeing him be able – he's my cousin, my first cousin. Seeing another family member be able to go out in Lavelle Edwards Stadium and put on a show like he did I was so happy for him, and it was a blessing to see that.
After the long off season, what was it like coming into Lavelle Edwards Stadium, running through the tunnel, you know, night game, you're seeing the lights, all those things, and a big crowd, the biggest that has been at Lavelle Edwards Stadium since 2009. What was that experience like for you?
Man, every time I go back at Lavelle Edwards Stadium, it gives me the chills, man. You know, we have fans that packed out the stadium for this Portland State game. You look in the fourth quarter, we were up 62-0 or whatever, and, you know, fans were still there. No one left, and it just goes to show the commitment and the support that we have from those fans, and we love them. And, man, there's no better place to play. I've played in a lot of stadiums up until this point. Love being at home, love being in Lavelle and playing for our fans. And so it was a great experience.
Last thing for you, Raider, appreciate your time. What can you really learn? And I guess, you know, it's kind of a cliche thing, but it seems like a lot of coaches really have this, like, saying of there's a lot of improvement that you can see of a team from week 1 to week 2. How much do you think that is applicable to you guys and then also Stanford based off of their first game?
Yeah, I think you're always looking to improve, especially as a defense. You know, we shut them out. We had a good game, but what more can we do? And I think that's something that we're thinking about every single day. We have goals that we've set for this game, and coming out here and practicing the best that we can. You know, when we do those things and we practice hard and we get the good looks that we're supposed to get, we know that we're going to improve from week to week. And so it's all effort, if we do our job, we'll be all right.
Thanks, Raider.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's BYU safety, Raider Damuni. Good stuff, Kyle, with Raider Damuni, junior safety, having a strong start to his season like many on this BYU football team. Cougs and Cardinal going to kick it off tonight at 8:15. We're about 6 hours away until kick. Let's take a quick timeout, and then on the other side, we'll get some more sound and breakdown of BYU and Stanford next here on Cougar Sports Saturday.